In this video, we're going to talk about arc length and the area of a sector, those two topics. So the first thing we're talking about today is the arc length. So let's say I have a circle with a center here, and let's call this an 80-degree angle. Okay, let me write that over here so you can see it better. I don't know if you can. All right, that's an 80-degree angle. And let's call this a 4-inch radius. So the radius is 4, and the little small angle is 80. Let's say we want to find this arc length. This is an arc length. Now, we're not trying to say that it's 80 degrees, because it is 80 degrees. We want to know how many inches is that. So here's our formula right here. You take the small angle, you divide it by 360, and then you times it all by 2 pi r. Or what we can do is just put a 1 like this, multiply straight across, all the way straight across, and multiply the bottom straight across, and then just use this line to divide. Oops. Okay, so let's try this. All right, the small angle is 80 degrees. So 80 degrees divided by 360 times 2 pi r, all divided by 1. If I multiply that straight across, I get by the way, the radius right here is 4, so let's just put that down. Now, when we multiply that straight across, we get 2009.6. We multiply the bottom, and we get 360. When I put that in the calculator, it equals approximately 5.58, and we're going to call that inches. So that's the answer. That little arc length is approximately 5.58 inches, almost 6. But do you see how that makes logical sense? If the radius is 4, that makes sense that that could be 5.58. If we had gotten 20 for an answer, we'd know that was wrong. All right, so that's how you do arc length. All right, so now we're finding the area of the sector. Now, the area of the circle, of course, is the whole thing, right? How many squares are there in the whole circle? And by the way, we do have to figure that out before we can solve this problem. We have to find the area of the circle. But let's say we just want to know how big is this little section right in here. This little section right in here. Okay, we have to know the radius. Let's call the radius 5. The radius we're going to call 5. And let's call the angle right here, let's call it 75 degrees. That little angle right there, right here, right in here, is 75 degrees, okay? All right, so now all we do is plug and chug. So the area of the sector, we don't know. I'm just going to go AS. We don't know, so I'll put that down like that. Now the area of the circle, to find the area of the circle, area equals pi times the radius squared. So that's 3.14 times 5 squared, which is 25. And when I put that in the calculator, I get 78.5. All right? So the whole area of the area of the whole circle is 78.5. All right, let me erase this. Ooh, okay. Now we're going back to the thing. So this equals, sorry guys, the small angle, which was 75 degrees, all divided by 360. Now to do this problem, all you have to do is make the big X and multiply straight across like we do for ratios. So 360, and I'll just go AS, equals 75 times 78.5. So when you just multiply those two numbers, you get 5,800 588, 7.5. Now I'm going to divide that by 360 because I want to know what AS is, right? So I want to know what the area sector is. So I have to get rid of 360. And when I divide that on the calculator, the area of the sector equals 16.3 squares. So again, does that make sense to you? 16 squares. And the whole thing is 78 squares. So this little section is 16 squares. So that makes sense. Okay? So that's how you do area of sector and arc lengths. Now go ahead and do the assignment that's on your Canvas page.